Hello and welcome to Casual Veteran Gamer, and in this Baldur's Gate 3 build video today we have a fighter named Tavvus. Tavvus is a high half-elf, whose mother is a high elf and his father is a human, and he grew up in a town known as Trademeet. Tavvus was a bit lazy growing up and he took more after his father, however the elven blood in him did make him slightly gifted with magic. He would read through the books his mother had collected and found a story about a magic weapon known as the Light of Creation. He dreamt of wielding this weapon when playing as a child, as he pretended to be an adventurer of renown hewing down his enemies. However, as he grew up, he didn't have good prospects, and his mother was often away from the house, doing whatever it is elves do. He found a job as a town guard in Trademeet. He has spent some time in an army, before deciding he liked not dying, so he went back to being in the Watch as soon as he could. He got picked up by the Nautiloid while visiting his mother in Baldur's Gate, and when he finds himself in the area reputed to have the Light of Creation, that's all he can think about and heads off in search of it. And here is Tavvus. He has a soldier background. He's maybe spent some time in a militia, but most of his working life he has been just like a town guard, maybe on the night watch, sometimes on the day watch. He is a high half-elf. His dad was human and his mum was an elf, a high elf, and the high elf cantrip he managed to learn while he was with his mother was Blade Ward, which has been pretty handy for him. It's probably saved his life once or twice. He's got +1 strength from his day-to-day life, from his job, the fact he is always basically walking around, lifting heavy things, swinging weapons around. He's had lots of training, and intelligence +1, which is just natural intelligence coming from his mother. As for his class, he is a fighter, which kind of makes sense, and he has developed his own great weapon fighting style. For his skills, he has developed some insight when people are trying to lie to him and say it wasn't them, just because he is always on the lookout for things. From being a soldier, he gets athletics and intimidation, which are fine choices, I think. And then onto ability points, strength at 16. This is because he has spent some time, lots of time, out and about, lifting things, swinging weapons around. So yeah, he's built up his strength. His dexterity is perhaps slightly lower than some of his colleagues. He's a bit hardy, 14, above average, but not as hardy as they come. And he's got above average intelligence, which is essentially his natural intelligence. And he's trained his wisdom, his perception, his senses and intuition from his job. And his charisma is just average. And that's basically because he's a half-elf, otherwise it might have been a bit lower than that. At level 2, there's nothing to choose. We just level up and we get Action Surge. At level 3, we have to make the important decision, and easy decision, of what subclass to choose, which is Battle Master. So having been a guard, he actually finds it quite funny to trip up anyone who's been annoying him. So he's going to take Trip Attack. He's going to take Disarming Attack to put himself hopefully out of danger against an enemy. And he knows that scaring off would-be criminals is the best thing ever, so he's going to take Menacing Attack. At level 4, we get to make the more difficult decision of whether we take an ability score improvement or a feat. Tavvus could take +2 in strength. That would be fine. He could take Great Weapon Master as well, always a good choice. And as a guard, kind of a soldier type, he has been using his weapon quite a lot. But what he's going to go for, he's going to take after his mother. He's going to go for Magic Initiate Wizard, and he's going to take Light because of the weapon he's going for is called the Light of Creation. So, light would be good. And he's going to take Friends. He's bored of not being very charismatic. Everyone assumes that because he's a half-elf, he's going to be an amazing person to speak to. So he's going to take Friends to make up for that. And then he is going to take Chromatic Orb so he can throw bolts of lightning as well as hitting people with lightning damage. Any other options that would be good for him? Mobile is always good. Martial Adept would be okay. Tough, because he's a tough guard. Maybe Skilled to give him, what would he like? Investigation goes with being Town Guard, I suppose. Probably Persuasion, perhaps. Maybe even Deception. Anyway, he's going to go with... got to put this back. Light and Friends and Chromatic Orb. We're going to join Tavvus in the Underdark, actually. Normally, when I do my build videos, I tend to do most of it above ground, but Tavvus's object of desire is in the Underdark. So I'm not going to do anything above ground, but what he's picked up a few random things, to be honest. He's got Scale Mail Armor +1. He's got the Amulet of Elemental Torment, but that doesn't really help that much, to be honest. He'll probably change that later. He's got the Whispering Promise because he's a little bit greedy, but a little bit selfish. If he wants to give himself Bless for a turn, he just has to drink a potion. He's got some metallic gloves, a helmet, and boots to help him with basically strength saving throws, protection against critical hits, and athletics +1. And he's currently wielding the Sword of Justice, but we do have the Everburn Blade if we want it. And he's just got your average light crossbow. I've got a few other magic items spread throughout the group, but not a huge amount. Kind of skipped past the Goblin Camp, came straight down into the Underdark. So we haven't grabbed a huge number of items from above ground. In general, what he'll do in most battles, while he's got the Sword of Tyr, he will of course give himself Shield of Faith. He'll then get as close as he can to the enemy and probably just wait this one out with Blade Ward and then start dealing out the damage from next turn. Well, that's a bit disappointing. Oh. So, Tavvus made a mistake. He's not as clever as he thought he was. He's got Blade Ward on, but when we look at the description of Blade Ward, has resistance against bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage dealt by weapon attacks. The Minotaur used Gore, which hit him for the full 13 damage because Gore doesn't use a weapon attack, it just uses, well, his horns. So Tavvus has had enough of this. So first job, heal oneself for a little bit, which gives him Bless as well because of the ring he is wearing. And then he is just going to make the first one scared. Oh, I made it saving throw, but it's okay. It's got action surge, and it's just going to try again. So they stop their nonsense, and we get our free opportunity attack. So at this point, it's quite interesting. Both the Minotaurs are facing away from him. What he's going to do is he's going to get kind of ready and practicing for what's going to be happening in the future. At least he's going to attempt to. And he's going to lob a lightning chromatic orb out at this Minotaur. Yeah. Dealing a total of 26 damage. Not bad at all. So he's going to wander through the Underdark doing this sort of thing until he gets his object of desire. Tavvus and his party have found the entrance to the Arcane Tower, and they're not going to take any risks. And Tavvus is going to have a look around and hopefully find some sort of back door to the place.
So that's progress.
Unfortunately, that takes away invisibility, but by this point, we're in safety. It's all okay. Found the back door, which requires a key or something, but whatever. That's what big swords are for. He's also heard of the magic inside the tower and knows that the Sisabloom flowers are going to be potentially quite useful. So when he goes, and he's going to stick the flower inside the generator. And the tower kind of lights up and the arcane turrets shut down. And the legendary item somewhere inside this tower. So Tavvus and his party are going to go and rifle through and ransack this tower. So Tavvus has searched through this tower fairly thoroughly and is about to go up to what sounds like the top level. And he realizes this automaton, Bernard, has got the weapon of his dreams on his back. It just cannot resist. It's going to attack. Even though he could get out of it, he just can't resist. So Tavvus feels like he has no choice to run up to this guy, try and steal this weapon. Now to try and make his life a bit easier, he's going to try this first. So it makes it a bit easier to hit him now. Since dazed, let's examine. Since dazed makes the target have disadvantage on wisdom saving throws. That's not so important. Can't take reactions, that's pretty good. And loses the dexterity bonus to the armor class. Bernard here would have +2 armor class from his dexterity, so it's made him easier to hit. So hopefully one of these will work. That didn't work. Go for action surge. Really desperately wants this. Oh, and he looks over to Gale. So, oi, Gale, help us out here. Hopefully this doesn't get Bernard. Chucks a potion of speed and Gale runs away. So we get one final last chance. It's a miss. Uh-oh. Right. Anyway, going to continue. Each time it is Tavvus' turn, he's going to try and disarm Bernard. To help him out, Shadowheart is going to put up Invoke Duplicity next to Bernard and Tavvus. And then do her best not to be seen. So in this epic showdown, Tavvus now has 2 goes with advantage and with a decreased armor class on Bernard to get the Light of Creation. Oh no, look at that. What a shame. Bernard's going crazy now. He's not too happy with all this. Now this might be it for Tavvus. Invoke Duplicity is gone. Shadowheart lost the concentration on it. She's put up Bless instead to help a bit. Dazed is gone. And he keeps getting hit for damage. He's just going to keep going, even though this is potentially killing him. Is it always 10 lightning damage? It's 2d8. Alright, let's see what Bernard does. Oh, he runs away. Going after the squishy wizard. So Bernard's rampage has come to an end for now, after taking out Tavvus and Gale. Let's see if we can do something about that. This seems like it could be Tavvus' one and only chance. found it. He's got the light of creation. He can't quite equip it yet. He's like, oh, this is it. So he's going to be greedy. He cannot resist. He steals a potion off of Gale just to put on this lovely new weapon of his. There we are. Mr. Tavvus here has got his weapon of destiny, the light of creation. And the first thing he's going to do after not being lethargic is make the light of creation give off light. And also put on this ring which comes with the light of creation, at which point he's a bit annoyed because he's learnt light especially for this moment when he's just given it by the ring that Bernard had anyway. So he's going to continue finishing off the tower, as in searching through the tower, and then he's going to go and clear out some of the Underdark. Just as Gale's going to start casting Melth's acid arrow, Tavvus shouts over, Gale! No! Gale! Gale! Use your staff! Gale sighs, uses create water. He's got Rain Dancer, shakes his head and just walks off to the side. Tavvus is thinking like, yes! Got this now. So he runs up to this guy, and then, just because, yeah, he took trip attack to try and humiliate people. He likes it because it's just done double damage with the lightning section, and since we're here, and this guy is on the floor, we've got advantage, we've got Bless, going in for the kill. There we are. And Tavvus thinks he's the bee's knees. At this moment in time, Tavvus is too busy playing with his shiny new toy to care about any sort of strategic thinking or what should we kill. He just wants to cleave, he wants to use this weapon, which unfortunately doesn't apply the lightning modifier, which I didn't actually know was going to happen. So he's a bit disappointed with that, and he's remembered he's not going to use that again. Just out of annoyance, just tries to shove someone. And Tavvus, our fighter here, is going to start using menacing attack. Unfortunately, he's not as scary as he thinks he is. Next round, time for another chance. Who knows? Last. Alright, and he still hasn't suffered from the downsides of the light of creation yet. I don't know the exact chance that this will happen. I haven't actually pointed this out yet. So the light of creation deals an additional 1d6 lightning damage. That's great. That's what we want. Chance to stun the wielder unless it is a construct. But yeah, that hasn't happened yet. We don't know the chance. I don't know if it's a constitution saving throw. I don't know if it's just like a random 25% chance. There's no information here. I'm going to try and use the weapon again to try and kind of make the stun attack work. This stun condition, it didn't work, but dealt a hefty 23 damage. Thank you, Light of Creation. To get cold is all but dead, but just in an attempt to make the stun work, it doesn't. But we can go and hit some glowing gems. One. No, I'm not really counting. But this chance to be stunned doesn't seem too... Oh, there we are. There we are. It's the first time that's happened. Doesn't seem so bad. Obviously, it's really not great when it happens. It happens in a battle. It happens in a fight. Oh, uh-oh. 2 out of 2 there. But I've taken lots of swings and it hasn't actually stunned him. So, yeah, it's hard to say exactly what it is. I'd have to collect lots of data to work it out. One nice thing about this halberd also is it's got reach. It's got extra range. So the range in Imperial is 8.3 feet instead of the usual 5. So it's a nicely increased range. So yeah, he's just mining down here, making up some money. He's quite happy with this. Right, we're going to go and take on the... I think the Hook Horror is next, and that'll be the final battle. Oh, stunned. Tavvus sends Gale slightly ahead to start this with a bout of water. Thankfully, it surprises the Hook Horror. Oh, he loves it. Look at that. 46 lightning damage. That's almost the most we can... No, it's nowhere near the most we can get from it. Why was that 4d8? If anyone knows why that says 4d8 lightning instead of 3d8 lightning, please let me know. Obviously, I'm very happy with it. He just did a whole bunch of damage, and the Hook Horror is now electrified and took an extra 8 lightning damage. So I think this is probably going to be over fairly soon. Starion, the Hook Horror is that way. Oh, it was a critical hit. Right, I'm an idiot. You can all put that in the comments if you want. There we are. Finishing off the rest of the Hook Horrors is not much of a problem. At least it hasn't been. Unfortunately, I thought I was recording while going through this Hook Horror and field row. I wasn't. It's a bit of a shame. So I'm just going to let this fight play out in the background. Tavvus has found his item of desire. He is wielding it quite efficiently. It hasn't really been stunned that much at all. It's been, I don't know if that's just lucky or whether the chance is not actually so bad. I must say, if there were a few times where I tested this while not recording, just swinging against things like vases, and he did get stunned 2 or 3 times in a row, but during the fights, I haven't had much of a problem. Let me know what you think about this guy, whether you would use the Light of Creation It's got a nice set of damage to it, but it does have quite a large downside. If you like this video, please do check out some of the other ones I've made, other build guides, such as the Storm Sorcerer. If you made it this far, please do consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. There we are, that's what I wanted.